Yes, Geordies, welcome back to another episode. And it looks like things are heating up in the transfer market. Newcastle United are getting linked to here, there, everybody. So we're going to be breaking it all down. But I've just had an idea. Do you know how Newcastle United are looking for a club sponsor? One moment, please. This should be our sponsor right here because Newcastle United are getting linked to everybody in the market. And yes, before anybody asks, I did get this off my grandma at Christmas time. But do you know what? It's the thought that counts. In today's video, we are going to be looking at James Trafford. We're going to be going to South Korea and coming back with a present. We're going to be discussing the Marc Geuhi saga. And then we'll be linked to another centre-back. And that centre-back is going to get his own scout report very soon. So make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on that. And once again, for anybody that doesn't know, I'm in the process of moving house. I've got to be out this house by Friday. Still got beds to move, drawers to pack. And it is the most stressful thing I have ever done. Next time, I'm not even going to bother moving house again. If I have to, I'm going to live in my car. I am not going through this again. I am stressed to bits. So there will be less videos out this week because I probably have a few days without broadband. And one of the guys in the comments said, I'll definitely have a few days without broadband. So I won't be able to post anything, even if I want to do. So just stay tuned. We will be back to normality next week when we're posting pretty much every day. But firstly, there's one thing I want to talk about, and that is Big Dan Burn. Congratulations, because he became Fans Player of the Season, voted by you guys and me, but for me it was probably Bruno Guimaraes. If I'm being honest, Dan Burn had a terrific season, capitalised by that goal in the cup final. You just cannot argue with that. You score in the cup final, you're deserving of Player of the Season. But let's be honest, he was terrific, and his attitude, his endeavour, his desire and his performances were top notch. Helped us secure Champions League football, won us a trophy, and you cannot ask for more. And he's such a likeable guy. He's just from Blythe, and he's just down the road from me. But in all honesty, congratulations, Dan Burn. What a terrific achievement. What a great season. Hopefully another terrific season next season. But let's start this video by talking about James Trafford. I'm sure everybody knows who he is, what he's about, what he'll bring, and it looks like Eddie Howe is going to get his way, because Fabrizio Romano said negotiations between Newcastle and Burnley for James Trafford are now underway. Now, what I found interesting here, and it's something I've been saying for a long time, club to club talks continue as a deal can happen from July. This is what I'm saying. Don't get too frustrated. Deals will get done. More than likely, our main targets will get done in July. Then he goes on to say, so I expect to accelerate from next week. Now, the main reason this accelerated is because Burnley have already found their replacement, and that's German under-21 goalkeeper Max Weiss, who is playing for Karlsruhe for Bundesliga 2. Now, whether or not he's ready to go straight in, I'm not so sure. But what I do know is James Trafford wants that move, because we can offer him Champions League football, so he's got an incentive to come to Newcastle. And I think we all know what he's going to bring over Nick Pope. But is it a needle mover? Personally, I think it will become a needle mover, but I think he will show moments of brilliance, but he'll also have hiccups along the way, especially next season when he's trying to settle in. However, he has got a much higher ceiling than Nick Pope. And let's be honest, with the World Cup coming up, he wants to play at the highest level to show Thomas Tuchel that he's capable of stepping in should anything happen to Jordan Pickford. Let's be honest, James Trafford had a sensational season last season. Now, looked at a few statistics comparing him to goalkeepers in Europe's top 5 leagues. He was first for clean sheets with 29. He was first for save percentage with 84.5%. Made the second most passes, and he was first for goals against per 90. Now, he's definitely not the finished article, and this is something I've pointed out before when I've done my scout report on him. He needs to be more commanding when crosses come in. He's definitely improved physically, but going into the Premier League, that's a different ball game. It's a lot more physical, intense, and demanding. He faced 527 crosses last season and only stopped 30 of them. That's a percentage of 5.7. And I've pointed this out before, although he's definitely an upgrade from Nick Pope with the ball at his feet, his pass selection and decision making can improve slightly. Very much goes short all the time. Sometimes that's too risky and he puts his defenders in danger. So I do think sometimes he needs to mix it up and go long. But we're going to look at a few statistics comparing him to Nick Pope as well. This is statistics from last season, and they're absolutely out this world. James Trafford does not get enough credit for how good of a shot stopper he is. I'll actually go out and say he's actually just as good as a shot stopper as Nick Pope, but he's better with the ball at his feet. And that's why he's got a higher ceiling than Nick Pope. Look, Nick Pope's 33 now. We haven't got a goalkeeper under 30. So it's about time that we do move for a goalkeeper that'll last us the next 10 years, because goalkeepers don't tend to change club very often unless they're absolutely abysmal. So when you sign a goalkeeper, you're signing them for the next 10 years. You're not looking to make a profit on them. Now, looking at those statistics, I mentioned he always goes short. Look at his launches. He's only in the 16th percentile across goalkeepers in Europe. Look at the average pass length. He's only in the 18th percentile for goalkeepers across Europe. And look at his pass completion when he launches the ball. He's only in the 5th percentile for goalkeepers across Europe. And I mentioned that he's not very good at preventing or stopping crosses. The statistics show that his cross-stop percentage is quite low. So there are definitely some rooms for improvement with James Trafford, but he's definitely an upgrade on Nick Pope. And this is how he compares to Nick Pope. James Trafford's the red, Nick Pope's the blue. When it comes to passing ability, James Trafford is way higher. But look at the save percentage. Now, I know Nick Pope is playing the more difficult league, but James Trafford's save percentage is out this world. He might not be the most physical and demanding and commanding goalkeeper, but he's definitely agile enough to get low or pull off some spectacular saves. So you know what? I don't mind James Trafford. I think he's good. He's got a high ceiling, but he needs a little bit of work before he gets there. For me, it depends how much you spend on him. If Burnley are asking for 40 million, I don't think he's worth it. Anywhere 30 or below, I would maximum 30 million. I've said this before, I don't think he's worth 40 million. But if you can get him for 30, maybe even 25, that's an absolute steal. But 40 million, I wouldn't be forking out on that, because that extra 10 million can be utilised elsewhere, because we do need to build this squad. And talking about building this squad, it looks like we're going to go to South Korea for pre-season and come back with a little present, because it looks like Newcastle United are working on a deal to sign highly rated 18-year-old South Korean. Now, I hope I pronounce this correctly. I have listened to little voice notes on Google. Park Suyoung. So what can you guys expect from him? Well, he's just a young lad. He's only made 13 senior appearances, so I expect him to go out on loan if he does come. Maybe he'll spend the season in Korea, but he currently plays for Suwon Blue Wings, and he actually went on trial to Bayern Munich last summer and was very close to signing for them. So what type of player is he? Well, he's right-footed, he usually plays on the left wing, but can operate anywhere across the front line. His key attributes: low centre of gravity, unbelievable balance and agility, which allows him to change direction quickly, evade challenges, which make him difficult to contain. He's got speed, acceleration. He's technically very, very good. He loves and thrives with the ball at his feet. Now, you get three types of dribblers. There's your technical dribblers like Messi. There's your press-resistant dribblers like Moussa Dembele, previously of Tottenham. Or there's your direct dribblers, somebody like Noni Manueki, Song Heung-min, etc. Now, Park Suyoung is your direct dribbler. Somebody like Noni Manueki, but he's a little bit more technical than Noni Manueki. And what I mean by technical, he's got an unbelievable step count when he's dribbling. That allows him to manipulate opponents. He's a two-way dribbler. He can go on the inside, he can go on the outside. He's a final third threat. He's a transitional threat. And he's also got an intelligent manipulation of space. So what that means is he's adept at making intelligent runs, particularly down the inside channels or behind defensive lines, creating space for himself and other players. And he's also devastating in one-on-one situations. But remember how I said in my video, we need to look at our academy, because it's going to help with PSR issues. If we can bring somebody in on the cheap, maybe keep them for a couple of years and sell them with a profit, that's the things we need to be looking for. But if we can bring somebody in and they absolutely thrive at our club, there's nothing more beautiful. These are the types of signings you want to make. You want to sign the best talents from around the world, because they're just going to elevate you in the future. So it's not a signing for the here and now. This is a signing for future planning, 2 or 3 years down the line, maybe even 4 or 5 years when he's ready, because at the minute he's not ready. He's very, very raw, very inexperienced, so he's not ready to just come into the Premier League and hit the ground running. So he will go out on loan, but there's definitely a talent in there. Do know somebody that knows somebody that scouts in Asia, and they were saying this guy is very, very talented. So yeah, it's another player to definitely get excited about. But another thing I wanted to talk about is this centre-back domino effect. It looks like we're going to have a merry-go-round for centre-backs, because Marc Geuhi is the defender in question. He's getting linked to Liverpool, Newcastle United, or even potentially staying at Crystal Palace. Now, we all know Jarrell Quansah is set to leave Liverpool to go to Bayer Leverkusen. Liverpool want to sign Marc Geuhi as a replacement. Crystal Palace want to sell Marc Geuhi to not lose him on a free next season. Marc Geuhi's thinking twice about Liverpool now because he wants more game time. In the meantime of all this, Ibrahim Konate has 1 year left on his contract and recently just rejected a contract offer because it wasn't what he wanted, so he could be leaving on a free next season. Now, the trouble Marc Geuhi's got is it's a World Cup year, so he doesn't want to spend this year sitting on the bench because he wants to start for England at the World Cup. If it wasn't a World Cup year, he could go to Liverpool for one season and say, look, I'll have a season on the bench. Next season, I'll start ahead of Konate because Konate will probably leave if he doesn't sign a new contract. But because it's a World Cup year, Marc Geuhi's now considering either staying at Crystal Palace or looking towards Newcastle United. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how you feel about this. Why are we just second or third option here? He wants Liverpool, but Liverpool can't guarantee him the game time. So now he's thinking about staying at Crystal Palace, going on a leave next season, or Newcastle United. Why are we second choice? Why are we third option here? I don't like this. I think we've been messed about too much here. Good sporting director knows when to say no. A very good sporting director knows when to walk away. And this is where Eddie Howe needs to learn when to say no and when to walk away. We got messed about last summer. We're not doing it this summer again because I'll just pull my hair out. I'd rather look at alternative options, which apparently we are, which we'll talk about very shortly. But this Marc Geuhi situation, I've said this before, if he wanted to join Newcastle United, it would have happened last summer. He had 2 years left on his contract. A player has so much power in today's football. I don't think you realise. I just think we're getting messed about like fools here, and I think he's keeping us open as an option in case 1 or 2 doesn't happen. And I think he's keeping us as third choice. He wants to stay at Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace want to sell him for obvious reasons. And Liverpool want him, but kind of guarantee him the game time because then they're in a sticky situation with Ibrahim Konate because Konate is probably saying, well, if you're bringing in Marc Geuhi, what does that mean for me? Why should I sign a new contract? So they kind of guarantee Marc Geuhi game time as well as Konate because they've got Van Dijk. So that's the situation Liverpool are in. And that's why there's probably a hold up. But I don't want Marc Geuhi to want Liverpool only to come to us as a second option. If we're second option, I don't want you. I don't care how good you are. You could be the best defender in the world, but if you're considering us as second option, I don't want you. But I want to hear your thoughts about that. Let me know in the comments below. But it looks like we have been looking at alternatives because apparently we've been scouting this player for 2 years now, and that is Scalvini of Atlanta. That is a 21-year-old who's made 8 senior appearances for Italy's national team. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I can get behind this signing. I really, really like this signing because the positives are huge. 6'4" centre-back. Yes, please. He's got an extremely high ceiling. He's elegant, technically sound with a dominant right foot. What he does is he ticks off most of the criteria necessary to thrive as a centre-back, especially a modern-day centre-back. He can play across the back four, he can play in a back four, he can play in a back three. He's aggressive in duels, he's amazing counter-oppressor, and he makes a good amount of ball recoveries. He helps in build-up phases with his passing and his penetrating carries. But I don't want to put too much on there because I want to make a scout report on him because I think it'll be really exciting to produce. Now, this guy has been hot property for a while. During the 2022-23 season, he finished with the league's defenders' most high regains in Serie A with 14. That's what Newcastle United want to do. We want to win the ball high up the pitch, and that's exactly what Scalvini brings. So he's an elite duel winner. What he'll give us over any centre-back we've got in our squad is that ability in possession. He can carry the ball, maraud the ball into midfield, or he's capable of breaking through the lines and initiating attack. Now, when I say he's comfortable on the left and comfortable on the right, this is exactly what I mean. During the 2022-23 season, he spent most of his time as a left centre-back. During the 2023-24 season, he spent most of his games as a right centre-back, so he's comfortable in both sides. Now, he's very, very tall, but quite lean, and that gives him that athleticism, but also that ability to change direction very quickly. So he's very comfortable in the wider areas, and that's what I want from our centre-backs, because Newcastle United like their full-backs to get forward, so it means their centre-backs need to be comfortable in wide areas. Scalvini is certainly comfortable in wide areas, but there is one worrying factor. Now, me personally, I'm not too concerned about it. Now, if you look at that, it looks very worrying. His injury record across 4 seasons, he's missed 406 days, 65 games through injury. Now, one thing I will say, there's a difference between being injury prone or injured. When you have one big injury, that doesn't make you injury prone. When you have multiple little injuries, that makes you injury prone. And this is what I always say. Now, the thing about this is I think there's a situation here where Atalanta were protecting him. Whenever he had a slight niggle, like his shoulder injury or his knee problems that kept him out for one game, an ankle sprain kept him out for 2 games. He's not missing a long period there. It's just 1 game here or there. So I kind of feel Atalanta were protecting him, saying, whenever you get a little knock that most players would carry on and play with, let us know and we're going to rest you. Now, we did have a cruciate ligament tear, which kept him out for 17 games, 170 days. Then when he returned from that, he had a shoulder injury, which kept him out for 123 days and 20 games. Now, the beauty about him, he's young enough to overcome this. You look at Tino Livramento, who pretty much was out for a whole season before he came to Newcastle United, and look at him now. So I'm not writing this guy off through injuries, but it's definitely something you've got to consider. Now, Atalanta value him at about 40 to 50 million. They don't want to sell the player because they know the quality he has. Now, I watched him for Italy when he was like 16 years old, and he was different gravy. He was just getting the ball. He was marauding forward. He's a centre-back that moves like a midfielder. He's so technically gifted, and he's just very intelligent with the way he just evades pressure in possession. So comfortable, and he's different from all centre-backs in that aspect. Now, he has been unlucky with injuries, but hopefully he can put them past him. But I want to hear from you guys. Would you be happy with that signing, or would you rather go for the tried and tested in Marc Geuhi? But also, what do you make of James Trafford? Let me know your comments in the below. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, away the lads.